Hi, everyone. Welcome to the You-est You podcast. I am so excited to be here today. As you know, I'm Julie. I'm your host, and you are all in for such a fantastic experience and interview. I cannot wait to introduce you to Lisa. Let me tell you a little bit about Lisa, and then you're going to be blown away by her, what she's up to, her passion, her travels, and her work. Lisa Shields is the People and Culture Director of Organifi. Integrity is the one word that describes Organifi. They have hired 61 people in 1 year and have been recognized as a best place to work in Fortune magazine and best place to work in San Diego. They were listed as the fastest growing company in Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies 3 years in a row. Lisa is passionate about helping people to love their life and find a career in alignment with their natural strengths and talents. Her motto is that work should be fun. Also, interesting to note, in 2007, Lisa and her husband decided to ditch their jobs to travel the world and see 44 countries. She has lived all over the world. A little bit more about Organifi is that Organifi strives to spread education and awareness to their local and global community about health and wellness in hopes that they can one day impact the entire world. They believe in the ripple effect. If they can help one person overcome wellness obstacles, then that person just might tell a family member. That family member just might try something new, experience their own healing, and tell another. Until before long, we are all living happy, healthy lives and sharing the joyful good news with one another. At Organifi, it is their purpose to show you the healing and detoxifying benefits of natural plant life so that you can overcome your biggest health obstacles and live a life of happiness and vitality. Who doesn't want that?
Oh, sign me up.
Yeah, sign me up. All right. I am so excited with all of that. You are such a badass, Lisa. Thank you for being on the show. This is awesome.
Thank you for having me, Julie. I'm so excited to connect with you and to your audience.
Well, I want listeners to know. So Lisa and I met at an event. We were at the Best Year Ever Blueprint Conference in San Diego. And I got to say, I remember turning to my left. You were standing there. We were in some wisdom drumming circle of some kind, which just shares it all. And I was like, who is this golden, high flying, energetic, amazing woman? Right away, you just emanate this radiance. You really do. And I'm not surprised with what you do, being the director, the people and culture director at Organifi. It makes sense to me, and just would love to talk to you about you being your best your You-est You, and a little bit of your journey being in different 44 countries, and then what you're doing now, because I think it's amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. You talked about energy, and I think for me, the key to my happiness and my joy is living with gratitude every day. That has definitely been something that was instilled in me from a young age, and through my travel and living abroad and a lot of time spent in third world countries, it really solidified how lucky we are to live where we do, to be able to have the experiences we have here in the U.S. And I attribute so much of my happiness to just being grateful every day.
Wow. What's amazing about you is that you actually, when I'm around you and the way that you are and speak, you can feel that. I can feel that gratitude. And say a little more. Is there any, because I'm thinking for people listening, they're like, all right, I'd like to have that. I'd like to feel more. How do you have any practices or ways that you cultivate gratitude? Would love to hear.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked. For about the past 2.5 years, before it was definitely a very informal, just trying to remember to feel grateful whenever I wasn't feeling grateful, and to really have a shift in my state. And I read a book, I believe it was Sean Aker, The Happiness Advantage. Yes. And he actually came to our national sales conference at Lululemon. And I remember him telling us about a practice that he had implemented at home with his family and his children. And I have 2 young girls. And every night around the dinner table, they go around and they say what they're grateful for. And it can be 1 to 3 things. So I started doing that and noticed a considerable difference in my children's happiness. And they're pretty happy, but at the time she was about 4. And I just loved the idea. So then what I did is I actually found an accountability partner who was a friend of mine. I wouldn't say a dear friend at the time, but just somebody who I knew was into personal development. And I just asked her if she'd be my accountability partner. And so we started sending our morning gratitudes to each other from the day before. And it was minimum 3 things that we're grateful for from the day before. And what I loved about that is throughout the day, I would start looking for things to be grateful for. And I believe that what you look for is what you see. So when you're looking for things to appreciate, you're going to actually see the beauty and the goodness in everything.
Ooh, that is so, I got like chills on my arms. If you're listening, you can't see it. My arm shirt covers it, but that gave, it's so powerful. I love what you just said. What you look for is what you see, literally. Yeah.
I tell people this all the time. I'm like, you can be a victim and you can look at how life isn't fair, and you're gonna draw experiences into your life to validate that feeling. But if you look for reasons of why you have an incredible life and you're lucky, more things are going to be drawn to you, or you're just going to focus on that, right?
Yeah.
So simple.
It's really great. Simple, but and so powerful. And I love what you said, because you had this accountability, you were looking every day. This is brilliant. Everyone listening, this is so easy. We'll have this in the show notes, but really like find somebody that, and I've done this. This is real. It works. It works.
Yeah.
That's
every
awesome.
Single day for the past 2 years. I think I've missed like maybe 3 the entire time. That was due to like being deathly ill. And the days I miss them, I actually notice a pretty profound difference in my mindset.
Yeah.
And so before I do anything, I like literally set my coffee and I go right to my journal. And I actually do a couple more things since listening to Joe Dispenza, which you might be interested in.
Yes. Oh my God.
My gratitude practice. I will share this with you because your community may be interested. I recently got really into the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza and have been meditating a lot, which is really new to me. I'm a very intense achiever who's always looking at their like to-do list and wanting to be productive. But since meditating and again being exposed to Dr. Joe's teachings, I have now added on a section of my ideal self. So every morning I write out my ideal self. So it could be like, I'm curious, I'm loving, I'm mindful, I'm peaceful. And it changes every day based on just where I'm at, right? And then I write out the thoughts that I want to have at the forefront of my mind. So it's always, everything's always working out for me. And I love this one because anytime I encounter a challenging experience, I say, great, this is helping me. What am I learning from this? Like, why is this happening for me? And then I end with the gratitude. So super powerful recipe. I really do my best to encourage everybody here at Organifi to, have some sort of gratitude practice, journaling, because it has had such an immense impact on my life.
Ooh, I'm like flying high with this conversation because I love that quote, that saying, everything is, and I love how you said it, everything is always working out for me or for my highest good or whatever. I love what you said. And that then, I don't know if you do this, Lisa, but sometimes when there's a difficult person or situation, I've learned to call them my teachers.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
there's a teacher.
We learn so much from them, even though we may not know it at the time. But yeah, for sure.
Right. Oh, this is so great. And I love that you pair that with this ideal self. So you kind of set how you want to be for the day and the thoughts you want to have. I love that. It's like pre-paving yourself for the day. So you're choosing it really powerfully.
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, there's another meditation by Dr. Joe where you literally assess how the day went, what thoughts were maybe slipping through your consciousness that you weren't aware of or that you let, get by that you don't want to. And I think from that was also an important piece that I was missing is observing my actions and my thoughts and just like not in judgment, with total compassion, but realizing like, oh, that isn't actually how my ideal self would act.
Right.
what am I committed to next time this happens? I
Yeah.
love that. It's another part that was really powerful in my transformation, my journey.
That's awesome. We're going to have all that listed. That is what a great way to like anchor your day and the end of the day.
The bookmark, right? Yeah.
Bookmark it. Exactly. I'm curious because I want to talk a little bit about Organifi and how it's become such a fast growing company. But even just before that, you took a year, you traveled the world, you saw 44 countries. I'm curious if there's sort of like a wisdom. I'm sure you have a lot of wisdom, but like something you noticed or some like nuggets of truth, or what maybe you could say if you were to boil it down. I mean, that's like kind of a tall order, but just if you were to boil it down, what are some things that you noticed in that year of traveling? I'm curious about that.
I love that you asked that. And actually, during one of my interviews, somebody asked me that, and I actually hadn't been asked that in a really long time. And I think my biggest takeaway from that year and a half was happiness does not come from the possessions we have or so much of what we think happiness is here in Western civilization. I feel like the happiest people I encountered were the ones who had really close connections with their family. They had nothing, and the smiles and the energy, they just radiated pure joy. And so oftentimes when I'm kind of stuck in the rat race of I've got to achieve, I'm like, what is all this for? At the end of the day, it's so we feel joy, fulfilled, happy, and it grounds me. Like when I think back to my travels and just rethinking about what happiness is. And I think it's love and connection. And I got that from my travels. Like, it's just incredible to see people with nothing that are just, they have a zest and a joy for life that, I mean, you don't see very often.
Yeah. Well, and I'd imagine, because I know we were talking a little before, just you've been to all different places, and probably some of the places that you've been to where you saw such happiness, it wasn't about, the money or the house or what they had. I know just a little bit of traveling. I'll never forget this, just where I was. I'm remembering a couple places, but there was a place in Turkey. There's a place in Jamaica, even where it was like, not the standard of living that would be going on most places here. And these people just seem like lit up. I mean, totally happy with what we would say nothing, but it didn't feel like nothing.
What do you think they had that was the source of their happiness?
I'm thinking of this. I talked about this recently on someone had interviewed me and asked me a similar question. And I'll never forget, I was in the small town of Pamukkale in Turkey. And we were in this hut. I mean, the tour guide took us to his family's home. I didn't even know him. And it felt like family connection. But what I got was not just them as family, but them bringing me in as family we'd never met before. But what came up for me is this feeling of oneness. Feeling of oneness.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
So cool. So I love that you guys just decided to like leave jobs and just do it. I mean, that says a lot. A lot of people talk about that, but don't do that.
Yeah. And that was the other thing I learned, is because everybody tried to talk us into taking that little, that little egg of money we had and putting it into a house, because we were renting in San Francisco and we had killer jobs. And I just knew. So we went against what everybody else said because I knew what was right for me.
Yeah.
And I think that comes to knowing yourself. And we took off, and it was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. I think everybody, if they can, should travel for an extended period of time. Not vacation, but travel.
Yes. Totally different. When you said knowing it was right for you, so I'm curious because I love the idea of intuition and knowing. Can you say a little more what that felt like or meant to you?
Yeah. So I met my now husband of almost 10 years. We met, and he was actually headed off to Brazil, and I was headed off to Shanghai. Like, I've just always had this travel bug. And I know that when I am traveling or living abroad, it just feeds my soul. And anyway, because there was no, he was like, I'm leaving. There was no stress, right? Or no just mind games, if you will. Anyway, we ended up just I went and visited him down in South America. He ended up living with me in China for a while. And when we got back to the States, we just knew who we were. And we're like, we love traveling. Like, it's just in our blood. And so we both committed. I'll never forget, we were on the wharf in San Francisco, jobless, no money in the bank. We're like, we're going to save money for a year and we're going to go travel. And the universe aligns, right? Like when you are so committed and you believe with like total conviction, we both ended up getting killer jobs and we were able to save a lot of money, living such a great life. And people were just like, don't do it. Don't do it. Are you crazy? Don't give up the jobs. We left and literally the economy crashed the month after we left.
Oh my God.
And everybody was freaking out. They're like, come back, you can have your job back. And we're like, no, I'm not going to do it. And when we eventually came back to San Diego a year and a half later, we couldn't get jobs in our industry. I was in medical device. My husband was in wine. And I have this belief, like I said, everything's always working out for my highest good. And sure enough, I ended up getting a job at Lululemon, and my life journey went completely opposite. So from the trajectory that I thought it was going on. So yeah, just facing that things that happen to you happen for a reason. And I think following your intuition, people just don't trust themselves enough, or we think of every excuse of why not to. I'm too old. I don't have enough experience. I'm too young. I don't believe in any of that stuff. It's never too late to make a change or to follow your passion.
Oh my gosh, you're so inspiring, Lisa. This is really, seriously, I'm just thinking anyone that's listening to you, no matter, you listened to what felt right for you and you did it and you stuck to it, and it's led to it sounds like an even more enriched path. And
100%. And then what happened for me to get to Organifi?
Yeah, talk about that. I want to hear about it. Yeah, exactly.
Because I definitely convinced them to hire me. Basically, I had been working at Lululemon, which is such an incredible company. I learned so much about leadership and how to really cultivate an incredible culture where people love coming to work. But I was in grassroots marketing and sales and all that stuff. And I recognized how much passion I had for this type of development, personal and professional development, and leading teams. So back in September of 2017, the division I was working for, the girls line, ended up closing down, and 700 people got laid off. And I remember hearing the news and I was just like, okay, what's next, universe? And I listened to a podcast. I'm going to give a little plug to Marcus Buckingham. Entree Leadership has a podcast that Marcus Buckingham was interviewed on, called like Capitalizing on Your Strengths. And there's one of those moments I was running on the 101 in California, the highway right above the beach. And I remember listening to this and like, I had to stop to take everything in. And it was all about, as you're looking for a job, don't look at the benefits and the pay and the accolades. Like, what do you love to do? What fills up your cup? What would you do if you were, if you won the lottery, basically? And take a job and make sure that the day-to-day activities line up with your innate talents and strengths and passions. So I ended up researching Organifi because I was at the time not working and trying to find the perfect company because I knew how important culture was. Yeah. And Lululemon had set the bar so high. And when I convinced the now Chief Operating Officer, May, to have coffee with me, we talked for an hour and a half, and it was like I had known her for years. And she goes, we would love to work with you. Would you want to head up our sales division? Well, I was really clear that although I was good and I had experience in sales and grassroots marketing, I wanted to go into leadership training, people and culture. And 2.5 months, I think she offered me 2 different jobs, and I was like, I'm not doing it. And meanwhile, I've got 2 little kids at home, bills to pay. And I just knew, I was very, very clear on where I wanted my life to go. And sure enough, she came back. She's like, fine, you can be our people and culture manager. And again, when you put somebody in a career where it doesn't feel like work. Yeah. I mean, the sky's the limit. And that's why I think like over the last year, we've, been able to hire 61 people. It's hard to describe the energy at Organifi, but anybody who comes here, there's a palpable energy when you walk through the doors that is indescribable, about people just happy and excited to be here and loving their life. So, yeah.
So great. You know, what I love about your story and just pulling out, it's a theme I'm hearing is the not compromising in the sense of really following your North Star, like allowing yourself. That takes courage, Lisa. I mean, I'm telling you, it took me years to be able to do that. I still
I'm not
sometimes.
spring chicken here. I mean, thank you, but
Yeah, well, you're doing it. I mean, to do that in the traveling, to do that here, and to come back to the CEO who I know you love and you love the company, and to say like, so sorry, nope, that doesn't fit. That takes courage. It takes a real sense of self. And I love what you talked about, really looking for what's gonna feed your soul, what's gonna be aligned with your strengths, with your desires, your talents, your skills, not just about the benefits, the pay. That, because truthfully, like you said, that's not where the joy is.
Yeah, no amount of money is worth not loving your life every single day or dreading Sunday night, right? Like there's no amount of money you could pay me to not enjoy every single day of my life. And obviously there are challenging times, but I mean, I would say, 99.99% of the time, I am just like, I can't believe I get paid to do what I do every day.
That's amazing.
I can't even believe it.
Amazing. You talked about the energy being just palpable. Can you say like, what do you think it is that makes the energy so palpable like that at Organifi, and maybe even a little bit about Organifi? I think some people might know about it and some may not. I can say that the chocolate protein powder that you sent me was like amazing. Their juice, I've used all their juice, the stuff in the water. It's amazing. It's amazing products.
Yeah. So I think that Organifi is a leadership and personal development company that sells superfoods. And I think that is at the core of what makes this company so unique, and also what drives the energy and the love that people have here. There are a couple of factors. Number one, Drew Canoli and Jamel Bedahar, the founders of the company, they are limitless in what they think is possible. I mean, truly, Drew is one of the most visionary human beings I've ever met in my life. I think he's living in like 2050, maybe 2075. All he sees is the future and what's possible. And when he looks at you, he sees your highest self and your potential. And that's the standard he holds you to in the most loving way, like truly in the most loving and caring way. And because of that, you want to live up to that, right? Yeah. And I think everybody here genuinely feels like family. I mean, I text Drew and May and everyone like pictures of my children splashing in the puddles over the weekend. I mean, it's just like you feel so cared for. And it is evident in the fact that like we spend a lot of money on personal development for our team. Like, you know, I went to Joe Dispenza. They paid for that entire retreat. Wow. I sent it over to Drew and Jamel and said, hey, I think I want to go to this. Do you guys want to come? And they were like, hey, yeah, let's all go. And we're going to have Organifi pay for it. Right. Oh we send everybody to ALA, which is kind of like a landmark, but steroids maybe. And then people can just apply for scholarships all the time. And I think we just genuinely believe in caring for the human being and not treating them like another cog in the wheel.
Yeah. Wow. You know, what's interesting, there's a thread you were talking earlier when you traveled, this idea of connection and feeling a family. And it sounds like you've actually found that.
Oh, yeah.
What you had in the travel around the world, you found that where you are. And amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, this place is, I call them like, they are my second family. And I genuinely mean that. Like I actually was asked by another company to come over, and, you know, they offered me a lot of money, like less time. And I'm like, there's nothing you can offer me. I've literally found the place that I wouldn't give up. There's no amount of money.
That's amazing.
Like to be cared for and have like the leadership here that I have, and people who believe in you so much. And again, you talk about family. I mean, there are days I come into work, I love to dress up. I have my costume bin is like my Lululemon wardrobe. I met my husband on Halloween. We just like to have fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so like Halloween, Valentine's Day, we're always having Halloween costume contests, and they love me for it here, you know? So
that's awesome.
They genuinely embrace everybody for their authentic self. And I just really appreciate it.
One of the things you said, I know we talked about in your bio, is you loving to have fun. And I'm thinking, like, for those that want more fun, first of all, Lisa, I'm like, you're it. Like, I want to.
We want to have fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, get costumes, you guys, wear them to work. Don't blame me if you get in trouble, but like, find a place that's okay. I mean, that is so awesome that it's, I believe in that, because I feel like what you're saying, it just fun fuels passion, fuels creativity. And I know you do that as the people culture director. You must, I'm sure that's part of what you do. We love to
have fun. We love to have fun here, just constantly. We play pranks on each other. I mean, yeah, I love walking down the halls and hearing people laugh. I mean, yeah, if you're not having fun, what's the point? Life is too short and we overcomplicate it. And I think when you just get back to having fun, you're more productive.
Yeah, so great. Oh my gosh, that's such great wisdom. What is, if you were to fast forward, first of all, I love that they are so future limitless, possibility focused, like, because with that, you really can create anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, I bet you, I'm sure you have ideas, but even I could imagine the products even going beyond the products. Like, you can just feel that there's a real, it's like a changing the world type of feel is what I get from Organifi.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see where this company, I don't know, where we evolve, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I heard talks of other products coming down the pipeline, and yeah, we're exploring. How about that?
So great. So if you were to fast forward for yourself and you think about when you get towards way down the road, you're getting towards the end of this journey, what's a legacy that you'd like to leave? What's important to you? What do you feel like you're really here for?
Yeah. I know you're talking about Organifi or actually in life in general, but it applies here at Organifi.
Sure. Both. Yeah.
My ikigai, which is what gets you out of bed every morning. Like, I love helping people break through limiting beliefs, right? Identifying what lights them up.
Yeah. And
then helping them believe in themselves so that they get there. Like, I heard it actually at Hal Elrod's event. Like, I'm going to believe in you until you have enough belief to carry yourself, right? Like, I can look at anybody here at Organifi and I see nothing but their raw potential. And Drew and I are very similar, the founder of the company. We have a lot of the same personality characteristics. We do a lot of assessments here and we're very similar, but
yes,
we're very, very similar. But I can look at somebody and I see what they're capable of, and I am their cheerleader. I love to encourage them, provide resources until they start to believe it, and they gain those little successes until they're like a freight train, unstoppable. So as much as I can do that every day, is my favorite thing to do, is have career conversations, life conversations. If it's not here at Organifi, like, let's help you find something that is better suited for you. But like, I believe, again, I know I've said this a lot, but it's a big belief of mine. Life is too short not to love what you do and live a life you love.
All right. That's like a drop the mic moment. I'm like, all right, I gotcha. We're on the same wavelength. I think that is so those that can't see this, but are just listening, I mean, your whole face lights up when you talk about this, and it's so clear. See, to me, it's just so interesting. You're so in alignment with what you love and what you're meant to do. And what happens is your energy, it's just, you have more energy, you can have more fun. And I'm so with you. It is too short. It is too short not to do what you love, not to have fun too. Like, I love I'm going to put that as a takeaway. Wear a costume, you guys. Put on a costume more.
You can't imagine even the days that and it's so funny because I always end up having like dress up days when I'm giving a huge presentation or whatever. And I love to dress up. It gives you just a fun edge that I think maybe don't take yourself so seriously, and play more, be playful. So yeah, dress up on a Wednesday. Why not?
Exactly. Why not?
If anything, just make your coworkers laugh or think you're crazy. Why not? Why not?
I love it. Last question. This is sort of a random one, but it just came to me because there are a lot of assessments out there. And for those that are like, I don't know, start my own business, or I want to change careers, or I'm thinking this, do you recommend, like I've done Strengths Finders, I've taught Myers-Briggs, there's so many out there, DISC, there's VIA Strengths. Is there one that you would recommend for people that are like, I would like to know myself better? Do you have one or two that you recommend starting with?
I mean, for me personally, I think that podcast I recommended,
Mm,
which is the Marcus Buckingham Capitalizing on Your Strengths, above a
yes.
personality assessment and anything, I think like listening to that and journaling is probably more powerful than any assessment you can take. I mean, you know yourself better than anybody, right?
Yes.
And if you actually invest the time to reflect and explore your inner being, then you know, I think that's the one thing is we don't make enough time to get to know
Yeah.
ourselves, and uh,
Yes.
we want that quick fix. Like I want to answer these questions and have the have a survey tell me what I should be doing, but like deep down, we
Yeah.
know what we like to do, and maybe not specifically related to a job, but you might like for me, I love coaching people. I love having conversations. For other people, they love supporting, right? They've always been the supporter and they maybe love being an assistant, or people like painting. So maybe they should go into graphic design. I think if you actually take time to reflect on when time would just go by, like you lost track of time while doing something and you could do it all day, every day, that'll
Right.
give you the starting point. I know it's already probably 1:28 and you might need to go, but yeah.
That's beautiful, Lisa. I love it. I was just thinking, like, you're clearly in the right space. And as I'm listening, I'm like, this for me is that, like, listening to you and interviewing amazing people. And I'm like, I don't even know what time it is because I've loved every moment with you. We're gonna need another time.
I know. Let's meet in person for a little tea or coffee.
Yes, yes, you are awesome. Thank you so much. I think there's
So,
so many nuggets of wisdom here, and I'm going to make sure to share everything. I always say if you're driving, don't write anything down, but we'll have
yeah,
everything for
yeah. Okay, so
you.
nuts. And I always like to offer up if anybody has any desire to learn about, scaling culture or how to make their culture better. I mean, feel free to have them reach out to me. I love supporting and spreading the word that work can and should be fun. And I'm happy to provide any tools that we've created and any hacks that we've done here at Organifi to help other people with that.
That's awesome. Well, you guys got voted, I mean, best place to work and fastest growing. There's a lot of things you guys are doing. You're just getting it. So that's a beautiful offer. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And I loved connecting with you. I'm glad I got to see you over the
Me,
screen.
me
All
too. Thank you.
right. Have a great day.